Hello, this is Kusho, and today we'll be learning about Kirita Screentone. This is the Kirita application, and we'll be using it for opening up, uh, creating a manga, and cleaning it up digitally. So, you can download Kirita here, and there's many resources that you might want to download too, like Screentone bundles, but I won't be going over those right now. Here, there's Screentone bundles. If you just search up bundles for Screentones or libraries, there's lots of good resources. But I'm not going over those right now. I'll go over what it has natively. So you basically just want to drag and drop your manga. I've already done it. Uh, right here, just drag and drop, and then open it up. Uh, Usually you want to do 600 DPI for professional use and for better quality. However, for this tutorial, we'll do 300 DPI so my computer doesn't burn. The first thing that you'd need to do is probably crop it. This is probably the first thing that you'd have to do as it's necessary for printing. However, depending on how you're printing, you might not need it to be cropped. Right here, for this, we'll need a cropped like from here, from the ruler all the way to the other ruler. So, firstly, you want to measure, ensure that it is level. If it is not level by zero point 0.1 or anything, go to layer, go to transform, and go to rotate, and you can rotate it by zero point 0.1 degrees. If you can rotate it by however many degrees it was off on the thing. So if it was like 5 degrees off when you scanned it. All right, for this one it's not that bad, so it'll be fine. All the way to Alternatively, you could use the polygon creation tool. Trim to selection. And bam. It's cropped. Converting the this page into black and white. So you can see here there's blues and there's grays and there's lots of stuff that's wrong. So in order to convert it from black to white, you have to go into adjust, and you can either go into levels or color adjustment curves. So for this one, levels, I find it less intuitive, but you can also use it. So there's the grayscale, and then there's also the RGB. These are different, so be sure of that, because you'd have to convert it to grayscale first, because even when you do this, there's still remnants of blue right there, and that's basically changing all the grays to blacks, but even still there's blue, so that doesn't get rid of the saturation. So you'd have to convert this layer to grayscale first, which is actually in filter, probably somewhere in here. Anyways, levels, you can also go into RGB, saturation, completely remove saturation, and then lightness, and then basically do the same thing, cut out the grays, make the blacks go with the grays. I'll use 85 for now since it preserves most of the detail. Alright, so going into filters, there's adjust and also color adjustment curves. So for these, it's mainly the same thing. You go into saturation, you completely remove it, and then you go into lightness, and you set it to a value that you think is good. This one loses a bit of detail on the face right there. So around here. And now it's pure black and white, and there's no blue. So after you've confirmed this is what you want, click OK. You can also save the setting, use last preset, or you can bookmark your current one. Here's the one I used previously, Manga. Lightness, you can see 75. Saturation. You're satisfied, click OK. And that's how you turn it black and white. Next up, clean up. So as you can see, there's many areas where there's a bit of black. For that, you can use any of these selector tools. I'll use polygon since it's most simple. I can just drag using middle mouse click there, right there, scrolling all the way up, and then select that. This is currently on the main page. You can do your cleanups on another layer. You don't have to worry about accidentally messing up the main one. So if you go into brush and you just all the blacks disappear. And then you should also be wary of mistakes in drawing, such as this one. You can just select it. If you go into the first panel, you could delete it, but it would leave a transparent mark, and you don't want that. So you can either make it so this page is only deletes the black, or you can fill another layer behind that with white entirely. So that when it does, so when you erase something on this layer, it doesn't show that it's empty and transparent. Alright, so you basically do that throughout the panels. And yeah, you don't have to clean up exactly. It won't be that bad or noticeable, if anything. Though stray lines like that, here, my brush size is too large, like this, or this are pretty noticeable, so you should cover it up if you can, like that. Or this is really noticeable. Anyways, yeah, that's cleanup. And so now, Screentone, the meat of this tutorial. There are multiple ways to do Screentone. You can do it on another layer, like I've shown. Just create another layer. And then here, you can do it opacity-wise. If you draw a space with opacity, if you draw a space with opacity, and then I'm scribbling, but you get the general flow. Opacity, just go into artistic filters, filter artistic, of course, halftone, and then alpha, and then it'll turn all that into Screentone. Of course, it's probably better if you do linear. Dots usually, there's lines, there's also different types. And then you can rotate the dots too, depending on what you want. And you can change the density. Usually though, it automatically does it for you. For example, if this one's super dark and opaque and this one's super light and opaque, it automatically creates different sizes. Yeah, see, different sizes for them. Linear usually, again. Oh, post-processing. If you want grays in your manga and you want the Screentone, then this is fine. You should skip this. But if you want your manga to be pure white and black, then you should put this hardness to 100%. Otherwise, it'll be fuzzy and there will be grays. So just keep the hardness to 100% if there's no grays in yours, and just pure black and white, which are what Screentones are for. So there's also the way to do it without opacity, whether it's gray or not. So for now, let's choose this gray, for example. Here's another way to do Screentones. You can select a polygon. So you don't really have to be that precise with it, which is the good thing about Screentones. You can skimp a lot, and just go straight through. And then, so once that's done, you can fill it in with a gray brush. And then just filter halftone, and it's already usually on intensity. And again, if you don't want blacks, just hardness 100%. Bam, very easy. Background color should be clear. It should be completely opaque so you can see through it. Of course, you can change the color too, but if you don't want it to be so intense, lessen the dots and their frequency, or increase their frequency. And yeah, see how nice that is? You can rotate them too. Everything the same, basically. Linear is preferred, usually, unless it's like this. But this is too small, so... Yep. So, that is how you can select an area very easily, just like a big one, and screen tone it, basically. Oh, what's the other way? Yes. There is another way. You have the screen tone brushes themselves. Brushes are a slightly harder beast to work with rather than the traditional filters because there's a bit more to consider. However, you have a bit more freedom when actually doing screen tones. So, in brushes, there are already 3 preset Kirita brushes. You have the lines, the dot, and the high density dots and low density dots. Yeah, this one, the thing about Kirita brushes though, these brushes, the patterns on them have themselves grays on them, unless you really go over it. In order to fix that, you can usually do it by indexing. Just go into filters, index colors, and it gets immediately fixed. Bam, just like that. Unless, of course, you want grays, which, of course, some mangas do. You can create your own brushes. So you don't like the way that this one looks, or you want higher density, you can go into here. Here, clean this up. You can go into pattern, and you can change the scale of it, so it's bigger than how it was previously. You can change the brightness, or basically, yeah, you can just mess around with all these and create brushes that you want. Yes, that is it. Oh, cut off. Cut off, you should probably put it to cut off disabled and then drag the black all the way to the white, because cut off creates fuzz, and if you put too much cut off, as you can see here, there's fuzz at the edges of the brush. And so with no cutoff, there's less fuzz. Um, oh wait. Oh yeah, cutoff brush. Sorry, cutoff brush. Not cutoff pattern, because cutoff pattern would just destroy it all. So cutoff brush also helps with the black and white effect. However, it doesn't fix it completely at the edges. So you should probably just always index the things at filter. Scale, yep. You can change scale, brightness, contrast. Don't mess with contrast. It just, as you can see here. Yeah, you can change the size of it. Pen pressure, we don't need to go into that right now. We're using a mouse, and it doesn't really matter for screen tone. And then once you're done, you can save it as a new brush preset, name it something else, and just save, click save. You can draw something in this space here to look, load scratchpad, yep. And save it, and bam, you have your own new brush, like the one I made over here. Anyways, that's that. You can also do the same thing, selector, and and then just draw within, and you don't have to worry about going outside the lines. You can also do this to draw around a character if you need screen tone in the background. You don't have to be that precise with it, because, as again, here, as an example, even if you draw directly over the black, the inked part, it doesn't show through because they're blacks and they blend together. So that's the nice thing. You don't have to be too precise. For this, you should probably know where you're shading, the shoulders, areas that hit shadow. Always define a light source. So like here, for example, I'll just I don't shade hair for it. And that should be it. Am I forgetting anything? Yes. You can change the texture. There's lots of screen tone textures. Some of them are really cool. You can import your own actually. You can actually create your own. Um, there's other videos on how to do that. We're not getting into that now. We'll reset that. Back to normal. Alright, that's screen tones. Oh, okay. Next, gradients in screen tones. Let's just delete this, clean it up a little bit. So gradients. For this one, we'll just select an area. Select the gradient tool. There's tool options. You can do different gradients. You can explore them. Some of them are cool. That one looks like you can use it for noses. But manually, you'll be using linear and or bilinear. Uh, you should probably do anti-aliasing to 1, though I don't think it really affects anything. So this is for the filter one. So you can do it. Make sure you choose the right gradient because you can either do black to white or black to transparent. There's a difference because when you use filter, just sorry, halftone, this is in intensity and it won't work with alpha. So intensity is different because it actually covers up the ink, and you can do that. You can change that with post-processing. You can make it transparent, of course. Hardness, always 100. Remember that, always 100. Always stay hard. Um. Anyways, same thing. You can change it with this, all the stuff I've shown you before. You should probably save this preset too, so you don't have to go messing with all these again and you can just use the bookmarked current one if you have one. It showed up in this list. If you select a certain area, I think it does the same thing. It doesn't do, yeah. But otherwise, if you don't select an area, it'll select the whole entire layer. So if you're keeping your gradients and if you're not keeping your gradients and normal screen tone separate, then that would be a good thing to know. If you want to get precise, then you should probably use the polygon selector tool, and you can select the area you want your screen tone to be, your gradient, and then just use the gradient tool, halftone, post processing, opacity. Bam! See? Isn't that nice? Though it might be a bit intense, so we'll do linear here, we'll do there. And there. Isn't that nice? Um, yeah. So, again, so if you had, for example, here, let's go back to this area, it's a good area. If you had that right there, you'd want to go with an eraser tool, just low opacity and lightly touch it up. So like it fades, right? And then you can select this area and go into filter and index. And if you erased it well, which I didn't, it should index sorta neatly. It's better to just do the other method of gradient screen tone. Unless, of course, you want grays. In that case, go for it. Here, let's just... Oh, okay, I think I ran out of undos. Anyways, yeah, that's gradients. Next up is bubbles. Yes. So, As you can see here, this lady is clearly saying something, but how can we know what she's saying? You can create a bubble. Oh, you can create a bubble with any of these brushes. Usually, you'd probably want a solid one. You can change the thickness too. So if it was, yeah, it it inherits the brush's settings. So if you wanted a really fancy brush like this, or perhaps it was a thought bubble, you could do this. Which one was the one I used before? This one. If it was a thought bubble, this one would be good, probably. Again, you can edit the brush's settings here, so you can make it so it's actually a thought bubble more like a thought bubble. Yeah. Uh, you can also create a polygon. So create a polygon shape. Bam. So if you wanted her to say something, bam. Now that doesn't have curves, so you should probably use the Bezier curve tool. You can add curves and all sorts. So basically these four things, or five I guess, you can use the line tool too. And it inherits the brush, so be wary of what brushes you use. I think you can do it with Screentone too. It shouldn't affect it. Oh, oops, yeah. So if you wanted to fill a large area with Screentone, I suppose you were feeling especially, I don't know, evil to yourself, you could do this, this. Oh, tool options, fill. If the fill, so this is what it would fill with. So, example, currently, it fills with white. Here, we'll use another brush so you can see it clearly. Currently, it fills with white, right? But if you wanted not filled, then if we did a bubble, it wouldn't fill. Foreground color is this. Background. Oh wait, no. Foreground is black right now. Background is white right now. You can also fill it with a pattern. So depending on what you want on the background, that could be like going insane. Yeah. You can change the pattern over here, by the way. I believe that is it for bubbles. Ah, actually typesetting. So there is a type feature. You should probably do this on another layer. But if you just type and then put la la land here, there's the type stuff, regular, there's all these stuff. Of course, the font for manga is actually CC Wild Words Roman font. This is usually what everyone uses in English, of course. I'm not sure about Japanese. But regardless, you should probably download this font. Uh, you can go into your computer settings, font settings, and just import it there. Just drag and drop, basically. And then it should be up here. Here you go. Save. Oh, there it is. La La Land. La 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 Land. Um, generally, there should be numbers here, so you can put text and number there. One more thing for rules, it should be in the middle aligned, and it really shouldn't like be touching the edges. Like for example, this is a big no-no. Even if this was entirely full, you should just make the font smaller and center it. Give it space to breathe. IRL screen tones. So for this scene, there's not really much IRL screen tones, but essentially, if you were to go into here, where do I have pictures? Any picture will do. Let's see. You can import pictures too, so that pictures do not like real life pictures. So you don't have to draw it, or it's for background or like even reference. Um, this can be useful for a lot of things, honestly. Most of the time when it's detailed work like a tree, you're better off adding it as screen tone, or a cloud, you're better off adding it as screen tone, even as background here. So you insert it as a new layer, you move it to where you want, scale it up. If your character is like in front, you can clip them using the go to this page and separate them by making a polygon selection. I'm doing this very lazily. You can go like straight over or next to the bold line since it will be screen tone anyways. And you can probably just raise them up. Copy, Control C, insert new layer, Control V. Is this? Yeah, okay. And then from there you can drag this marble layer between that, move it, now it's behind it, and go to filter, halftone, you know it. Anyways, yeah, depending on how detailed you want it to be, if you include less pixels, it will become more realistic. Otherwise, it will become more abstract. Post-processing, this should always be at 0 opacity. Should never be white. Otherwise, it could cover up other drawings. Yeah, so the tree, you can do the same thing with the tree if we wanted them to be like in a foresty area. I don't know. Just artistic, halftone, tree. Very realistic right now. So just, oh, make sure to hardness is 100. And, oh, that makes it more realistic. Like that. Slightly less realistic, but you can still kind of tell it's a PNG. This works best with clouds, but it works with any real image. I'm pretty sure that's how they did it in Dandadan in it too. Anyways, that should be all. Thank you for coming to my master course. Wow, 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 wow. Thank you. And that is how you do screen tones in Kirita.